There is a moment, right before someone loses control, when they search your face for a reaction. They raise their voice. They wait for you to raise yours back. They throw the insult, the accusation, the threat, and they wait, almost hungrily, for the mirror to catch fire too. And then it doesn't. You just look at them, still, unblinking, breathing like nothing happened. And something strange crosses their face. Not relief, confusion. Because on some buried, animal level, they were expecting a fight. And instead, they got a wall of water. No resistance, no noise, just depth. This is the moment we're going to spend the next few minutes inside of. Because there is a specific kind of calm, not the fake, performative, I'm fine kind, but a real, rooted, almost eerie calm that doesn't just help you survive conflict. It makes other people flinch. We're taught that power looks loud. The raised voice in the boardroom, the slammed door, the person who can silence a room by getting angrier than everyone else. But if you've ever actually been in a room with real power, you know that's not how it works. The most unsettling person in any room is rarely the loudest one. It's the one who didn't need volume at all, the one whose hands didn't shake, the one who let a silence stretch 3 seconds too long, and somehow, everyone else filled it with their own anxiety instead. There's a reason interrogation rooms are designed the way they are. There's a reason poker players talk about reading an opponent, not by their words, but by the absence of panic in their eyes. There's a reason a single calm sentence, delivered slowly, can end an argument faster than a shouted paragraph ever could. Calm isn't the opposite of power. Under the right conditions, calm is the power. And the people who master it aren't cold. They're not emotionless. That's the misunderstanding we need to clear up right now, before we go any further, because what we're describing isn't the absence of feeling. It's the mastery of it. Here's where the science gets interesting. Human beings are wired for something researchers call emotional contagion. It's the same mechanism that makes you tense up when someone near you is panicking, or feel your own chest loosen when you're around someone who seems completely at ease. Our nervous systems are constantly, unconsciously, scanning the people around us and asking one question. Is it safe here, or is it not? This is why walking into a room where someone is furious can make your own heart rate spike before you even know what happened. Their dysregulation is contagious. It's not weakness, it's biology. For most of human history, catching someone else's fear or fury quickly was the difference between noticing the predator in time and not noticing it at all. But here's the twist almost nobody explains properly. Regulation is contagious too. When a person stays grounded while everything around them escalates, their nervous system doesn't just resist the chaos, it starts to influence it. Their slow breathing, their steady voice, their unhurried movements send a quiet signal to everyone else's brain. There is no threat here. And slowly, almost against their will, the people around them start to come down too. This is why a calm parent can settle a screaming child faster than a louder one ever could. It's why a single steady voice in an emergency can organize a room full of panicking people. It's not magic, it's regulation, passed from one nervous system to another, like a match lighting nothing because the air around it refuses to catch. Now flip it. Imagine you're the one trying to provoke a reaction, and you can't get one. That's when calm stops being soothing and starts being unsettling, because the other person's brain was expecting mirroring. It was expecting the normal social contract. I escalate, you escalate, we match. When that contract breaks, when you don't perform the expected fear or anger, their own nervous system is left alone with itself. Nothing to blame it on. No shared storm to hide inside. They're forced to sit with their own emotional exposure, in full view, while you don't even blink. That's not you being cruel. That's just what happens when someone runs into a person who has stopped needing an audience for their feelings. We love the idea that some people are just born like this. Ice in their veins. Nothing rattles them. It's mostly a myth. Almost everyone who radiates that kind of grounded stillness has, at some point, been anything but calm. They've had the racing heart in the meeting, the shaking hands before the confrontation, the 3 a.m. spiral. What changed wasn't their biology. It was their relationship to their own reaction. Calm, the real kind, is built the same way muscle is built, under load, repeatedly, on purpose. And there's a very specific psychological shift that happens along the way. Most people believe their emotions are commands. Anger arrives, and they assume they must act on it immediately. Snap back, defend, explain, prove. Fear arrives, and they assume they must run from whatever caused it. But a feeling is not an instruction, it's information. The people who seem unshakable have simply learned to let the information arrive, notice it, name it, even feel it fully, without treating it as an order they're obligated to obey. There is a gap between the spark and the response, and most of us have never been taught that the gap exists at all. The people who unsettle rooms with their calm have simply learned to live inside that gap on purpose. So how does someone actually get here? Not in theory, in practice. It starts with the breath, because the breath is the only part of the nervous system you can consciously override in real time. When the body senses threat, breathing gets short and high in the chest, which tells the brain, correctly or not, that danger is real. Slowing the exhale, making it longer than the inhale, sends the opposite signal. It's not a trick. It's a direct line into the part of the nervous system that decides whether you're safe. Then comes the pause. Not a dramatic, performative pause, just a small, deliberate delay between being provoked and responding. 3 seconds is often enough. In that gap, the part of the brain responsible for reaction gets interrupted just long enough for the part responsible for judgment to catch up. People who seem unnervingly composed have usually just gotten very good at living inside those 3 seconds. Then comes something subtler, the willingness to let a silence sit unfilled. Most people rush to fix silence because it feels like tension, but silence held on purpose reads as control. Every negotiator, every skilled clinician, every person who has ever calmed a room down instead of heating it up has learned this same lesson. The first person to break an uncomfortable silence usually hands over the power in it. And finally, and maybe most importantly, there's the practice of detaching your own worth from the outcome of the moment. Most emotional explosions aren't really about the argument in front of us. They're about what losing that argument seems to threaten, being seen as weak, wrong, unlovable, small. The people who stay calm under real pressure have usually done the quieter work of deciding, long before the conflict ever arrives, that their worth isn't actually on the table. When nothing is at stake for your identity, very little can shake your face. None of this is about becoming unreachable. It's not about performing serenity to win arguments or intimidate people into silence. The people who misuse calm as a weapon, who go cold and distant to punish someone, who use stillness to make others feel small, aren't practicing this at all. They're just performing detachment while still, underneath, completely dysregulated. Real calm doesn't need anyone else to feel worse. It doesn't perform. It simply doesn't collapse. The actual purpose of this kind of steadiness is much quieter than intimidation. It's freedom. Freedom from being controlled by whoever is loudest in the room. Freedom from having your entire day hijacked by someone else's bad one. Freedom to respond to your life instead of just reacting to it, moment after moment, at the mercy of whatever just happened. And yes, as a side effect, it does something to the people around you. It makes liars uncomfortable because they can't read panic on your face to know they're winning. It makes manipulators uncomfortable because their usual levers stop working. It makes chaos uncomfortable because chaos needs a partner and you've quietly stopped auditioning for the role. Somewhere right now, someone is standing in a kitchen or a boardroom or a doorway, raising their voice at another person, waiting for the fire to be matched. And somewhere right now, someone else is standing perfectly still, breathing slow, saying less than they could, letting the silence do what shouting never could. That person isn't cold. They're not empty. They've simply stopped lending their nervous system out for free. And the world, whether it admits it or not, will always feel something shift when it meets a person like that. Because in a world addicted to reaction, the calmest person in the room isn't just at peace. They're the most powerful one in it.